Ring, 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 ring. $1.30 XRP is calling. Donald Dump is entering the scene. But we called it first. We did. Please like today's video because no one else will say this. Trump acknowledged he could cause a recession. But wait a minute. But just doesn't want a depression. Uh-oh. So a recession is on the table. Okay? It could happen, they're suggesting. But we said this path towards a collapse, we will first see a pump, then a dump, which ties into a recession. Then they're going to print so much money, like $30 trillion, and the blow off top happens. During this moment, what comes next? Something devastating. Listen, Trump doesn't care. He will fulfill his role. There's a reason why he was timed perfectly for right now. Right? These next few years are going to be detrimental, guys. It's going to be either you make it or you get left behind. I'm telling you, we're only here to state the truth and only the truth. We got confirmed. Ray Dalio says, I'm worried about something worse than a recession. We have something that is much more profound. We have a breaking down of the monetary order. Why? Because a new order is imminent. And that is what? XRP. XRP is surely the chosen one. Which ties to Donald Trump. He is the chosen one as well. Donald Trump is for the people, guys. He surely is. Right? The way to get to that endpoint is for everything to break down. Okay? XRP will be the heart of that new system. And one more major factor that ties everything together, it's this one mini black swan that keeps growing and growing and growing, and it has to do with a certain country, which we're about to talk about after watching this. So prepare. But let's investigate to see what this person, and by the way, he has done a lot of research, and he did say that every 100 years or so, a new system arrives. Listen.
I think that right now we are at a decision-making point and very close to a recession. And I'm worried about something worse than a recession if this isn't handled well. A recession is 2 negative quarters of GDP, and whether it goes slightly there, we always have those things. We have something that's much more profound. We have a breaking down of the monetary order. We are going to change the monetary order because we cannot spend the amounts of money, so we have that problem. And when we talk about the dollar and we talk about tariffs, we have that. We are having profound changes in our domestic order, how ruling is existing, and we're having profound changes in the world order. Such times are very much like the 1930s. I've studied history, and this repeats over and over again. So if you take tariffs, if you take debt, if you take the rising power challenging existing power, if you take those factors and look at the factors, those changes in the orders, the systems, are very, very disruptive. How that's handled could produce something that is much worse than a recession.
Exactly. Much worse than a recession. It's going to be much worse than a depression. Why? Because it's something we never experienced, guys. If you're living right now, it's a total collapse to bring upon something brand new, right? But he did say he studied history, and this thing just keeps repeating, right? Breaking down of the current order in order for a new order to arrive. Remember, who said it first though? It's XRP. Now, let's get to the ticking time bomb. The ticking time bomb that will make XRP go to low prices and all these cryptos and stocks. It's this black swan event. No one else will call this, but people have investigated that this is going to get out of hand. Why? Breaking. China calls on the United States to completely cancel tariffs. Okay, so America has China in a chokehold. White House says Trump has no plans to speak with Chinese President Xi Jinping about tariff war. Why? Because he wants what? He wants this to get out of hand, guys. They need QE to restart again. Okay, so now it's gone so bad to the point, right, with all this tariff stuff happening, that China now suspends exports of certain rare earth minerals to the United States. But this is so odd. You know why? This is where the black swan accelerates. Now, this may seem a little bit weird, but it's not, guys, because we're going to connect the dots. And this goes back in time, where a game told us that this year there's about to be something more than just a tariff war, possibly a Cold War. Let's listen.
We need to investigate everybody who worked on Call of Duty Black Ops 2. Because somebody who was in that room is a time traveler, and I am sure of that. If I were to tell you 13 years ago a game developer would predict the future, you'd probably call me crazy, right? But stay with me. You see, Black Ops 2 was released in November of 2012, and in every single Call of Duty game, there's a campaign. And in the campaign of Black Ops 2, China and the United States are in a Cold War. But why exactly did China and the United States get into a Cold War? As it says right here, it's because China stopped exporting rare earth elements, which is something that sounds ridiculously insane, like that would never happen. Only yesterday, that's what China did. You may be thinking, oh my gosh, this is a reach. It's a video game who said sometime in the future this would all happen. But it gets even crazier when you realize when Black Ops 2 was set. Because in this video game, it's not set in 2012. In fact, it is set in the year 2025. As in the year 2025 that we are in. Meaning that 13 years ago, the game development team that was building Black Ops 2 accurately predicted all of this down to the exact year that this is happening. We need to invest.
Point number one, 13 years ago, right? And number two, again, it's all about what these certain rare earth minerals, guys, right? And then what began? Something more devastating than just a tariff war, right? Look at that, guys. I remember playing this game, right? But I don't really remember the campaign. But again, it's all tying in together. Now, let's actually investigate even more to pinpoint they're not lying, right? This is all subliminal programming, guys, and this will make, if this actually happens, God forbid, first of all, right? But I think it will happen due to them needing to restart QE, and the way to restart QE is for inflation to go down, more so to deflation. The only way for that to happen is for a black swan to literally explode, and I'm guessing this is the trigger. This is a trigger. This will be the trigger to it all.
Around the Middle East, the Russians and the Chinese are getting real cozy. Huh. Now, the politicians, they want you to think this is about ideology. It's a lot of horse. Give me your phone. Go ahead. Rare earth elements. Whole fucking world runs on this shit. Who controls all of it? China.
So how did they know? Right? How did they know? And it takes place in 2025, right? This game begins in the year 2025, and supposedly, Nuketown 2025 is well a map in the game, right? Talks about nukes and stuff. So we're heading towards that 0 point, guys. I'm guessing first it's the recession, which we're about to enter, and then number two, it's the depression after everything just rises diabolically to the point that the system cannot handle it any longer, and then XRP enters the scene, right? So Donald Trump is entering, guys. He even stated that screw China, because Trump says no one is getting off the hook for the unfair trade and tariffs, especially China. What's really odd about this just came out today, that 130 countries now negotiating new trade deals with the NACs, but America doesn't care about China. China's not getting left off the hook. Why? Because this game stated it's for these two certain countries, okay, are in a Cold War. And that's where the black swan explodes, and that's where we reach all these crypto assets and stock prices bottoms. And then we're going to go in a diabolical, demonic run, non-stop up-only mode, where 30 trillion, maybe $50 trillion gets printed from the Fed. Right? It's like 2020 on steroids, literally. So things are now starting to make sense, to be fair. China will raise tariffs for all imported NACE goods from 84% to 125% on April 12th, right? So this is just going to keep accelerating. Not to mention, get it while it's hot, Trump to unveil more on-chip tariffs on Monday, according to Reuters. He's non-stop, right? But again, please like today's video, because I'm exposing, we're stating the truth and only the truth. The Fed is now saying, hey, wait a minute. Fed officials say absolutely ready to intervene in financial markets, right? They're ready to print. They literally have it. They have their finger on the button, guys, and they're going to click it, press it, as soon as this begins, right? Something more than just a tariff war between these two certain countries. BlackRock CEO Larry Fink says we are very close, if not in a recession right now. Americans now expect inflation to soar to over 6% within the next year, the highest reading in 44 years. So So this is America's inflation expectations. Okay, it's all the way up here with Trump, and each other time recessions happen, guys. Right, that was low, but basically a lot of these other times recessions occurred. This signal has ended in a recession every time, and it just flashed once again, right? So what is the signal? Consumer expectations of labor market, and I guess if it just crashes, right, crazy amounts to some type of threshold, a recession strikes, right? Look at that. Quite interesting, right? So Trump is truly the chosen one for this role, guys. This is what happened the last time the Fed waited days to bail out the imploding basis trade. It unleashed the biggest bailout in United States history. March 9th to the 13th, 2020 basis trade goes haywire. Yields soar instead of plunge into an economic crisis. Fed ends up injecting trillions of dollars. Right? So this was in March of 2020, guys. And the 10-year yields, it just went extremely high, right, in just a couple days. But then they started printing. It was all due to that event, though, right? It was all due to that event. Look what's happening here. Here's the real question: who gives up first, President Trump, China, or the bond market? At this rate, the 10-year note yield will be at 5% next week, and I don't think that's a good sign because Charles, who is it? Manarino said that if you see these yields explode, right, overnight, yeah, the system is about to collapse, right? That's the flip of the switch moment. Inevitably, one of these three factors have to give very soon. This is unsustainable. That's what I was asking, guys. With all these things happening, it's unsustainable. It can't last for too long, right? So it's about to happen any moment now. Prepare. What will it be? I don't know, but something has to crack, right? The yields, Trump, or China, right? Either they all become friends, or I guess the fourth option, the Fed. But the Fed will not come into play until everything goes kaboom, right? So there's the game plan, guys. Ring, ring, ring. $1.30 XRP is calling. Minimum. Probably a lot lower. No, but HFIs, I'm ready though. I truly am. Let's see what happens next. Just be prepared. Stay on high alert. But anyways, that's Sophie's Mazes. See ya.